Hello everyone, welcome to the Where to Work podcast. You're with your host Julian Leahy. Today I'm joined by the fantastic Anne Laffin from Fin Marketing Management. Welcome to the show, Anne.
Hello, nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. We're going to play a game of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I was explaining to Anne the key is to use your lifelines. You've got 3 lifelines, 50-50 split, poll the audience, and you have a 30-second Google window where you can quickly Google an answer. There are your 3 lifelines. Let's bring up the board and get straight into it. Okay, excellent. All right, the first question. A person who has the first generation Apple iPad can use it to do all but which of the following? Make phone calls, play games, check email, video chat. Now, this is a long time ago, the first iPad. When did that come out?
2009, maybe?
Okay,
2010?
Nearly, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. And can you remember? Did you get the first generation iPad, Anne?
I think I actually did, and I think I know the answer to this.
Which one are you leaning towards, let's say?
I'm going towards A, make phone calls.
Anne?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes? Can you use one of your lifelines? That's my hint for you. I give people a hint on one if they're going, I think, possibly the wrong way. So we could do a 50-50 split, poll the audience, or you could Google it. Probably hard to Google. Should we do a 50-50 split?
Sure,
let's do it. Okay. As an iPad 1 owner, they're telling us that the 2 options, play games or video chat. Which one of those can you not do?
I'm going with video chat.
Okay, let's lock it in. And that is correct. You needed a bit of help, but that's okay. I always help people on one question. From here on in, you will be on your own, just with your lifelines. You've got 2 lifelines left, but I've seen people go all the way from here. A person who is born on March 15th celebrates their half birthday on what date? December 15th, September 15th, June 15th, or April 15th? Kind of difficult mathematical question. A person who was born on March 15th celebrates their half birthday on what date?
I'm going to go with September 15th.
Confident? Are you good at mathematics?
Maybe.
Let's have a look. I think you are. Well done. You did that very quickly. All right, continuing on. Now we're getting somewhere. A person who is fighting imaginary opponents is said to be tilting at what? Rainbows, windmills, clouds, castles. I personally have not heard this expression. Have you, Anne?
No idea.
If you were to guess, what would you guess?
Castles.
Right. I reckon you might have to use a lifeline. So how about let's use the Google one. What do you say? I mean, you can use whichever one you want. All right. So whip your phone out or your iPad 1 and you got 30 seconds. I'd probably just Google tilting at
Windmills.
Oh, you got it. How'd you get it so quickly?
I'm speedy.
Speedy with your thumbs.
Yep.
Okay. Windmills, correct. Well done. All right, just ignore that timer. Can I stop that? All right, that's gone. All right, still alive. You've got 1 lifeline left. Some hard questions in the beginning. A person wearing specialized Capezio shoes is most likely engaging in which of these activities? A, ballet dancing, B, ice hockey, C, rock climbing, B, chess playing. Now, you nodded your head. Have you done any of these activities that might help you? Which ones have you done?
I have played chess, I have rock climbed, and I have also been a ballerina. And it is A, ballet dancing.
Oh, let's lock it in. That was lucky. Correct. Not lucky. You did great. All right, continuing on. We're up at 750. A person who gets upset over something that's not really so shocking is often said to be clutching their what? Rubies, diamonds, pearls, or sapphires? The nod. That's a good sign.
I think I know this one too. I think it is C, pearls.
Lock it in, pearls. Now, no. This is my fault. I've obviously entered in the wrong answer, which I have done once before. So you're correct. I'm going to continue on, and let's just ignore that. That's host incompetence. Okay.
Okay.
Let me just mark that one and pretend that was right. All right, you're at the $1,000 safe zone. A person who orders biftec in a French restaurant expects to see what on his or her plate? Steak, lobster, spaghetti, or salad? Now, this is similar to what they say down in Mexico in Spanish as well. So if you know any Spanish, this might help you. You're nodding. That's a good sign. You've got one lifeline left. Which one are you leaning towards, Anne?
I'm leaning towards steak.
Confident enough to lock it in?
Let's do it.
That is correct. Did the have you heard the Spanish version, or did you know the French word?
I have heard the word, and so I think it's just sort of lingering in my head, and I didn't think it was any of the other three, so I was leaning towards that.
Somewhere, somehow, you've picked that one up.
Yep.
Okay, continuing on. A person who is said to be playing the back nine is participating in what sport? A, tennis, B, basketball, C, golf, D, soccer. No head nod. I'm worried.
It's C, golf.
Not worried at all. Let's lock it in. That's correct. I'm starting to get the impression that the questions were hard at the beginning and getting easier. What do you reckon?
I also agree with that statement.
All right, let's see where they go from here. A person who peddles medicines that are fake or ineffective is commonly said to be selling what? A, lizard potion, B, snake oil, C, toad elixir, or D, crocodile cure?
That would be B, snake oil.
Snake oil, okay. Let's have a look. That's correct. Well, after a very hair-raising start, Anne is starting to really get a move on. Can she go all the way? One lifeline left. Let's see the next question. A person claiming to have psychokinetic powers is supposed to be able to do what with his or her mind? See the future, move objects, read minds, start fires mentally. Psychokinetic.
I believe it is move objects.
Is there a movie that came to your mind when you saw that question?
Actually, there was a show on TV that used to be on TV called The Fringe.
Okay.
I was
thinking of Carrie, the Stephen King movie. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I do remember that one.
All right,
yeah.
Let's lock it in. All right, correct. I'm starting to believe in Anne. Anne is going to go all the way with one lifeline.
All right.
A peace treaty has never been signed for which of these major conflicts? Korean War, Vietnam War, Spanish-American War, World War I. And now this is kind of a high school history. You've got one lifeline left. The head is being shaken from side to side. Which one would you pick if you could have a guess without locking it in?
I would probably pick I would have picked Vietnam, but can I use a lifeline on this one?
That's the only one I feel like did have a peace treaty. I mean, I don't know, but let's use your lifeline, Anne.
Okay.
It's too risky.
Let's see here.
All right, polling the audience. Last lifeline.
All right.
can't hear the music. All right, the answers are coming in. This one's easy to Google, so I won't be impressed with the audience. Okay, what do we got there? A, 58% is the clear winner, according to the audience. The Korean War. Now, if you think about it, maybe they didn't have it. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, what do you reckon? Trust the audience?
I'm going to trust the audience here.
Always a good idea, because they cheat. And that is correct. At the safe level, 32,000 in pretend money. However, you have the great honour, if you should go all the way, of qualifying for the champions round, where we will play a game of Jeopardy with all of the champions. But it's going to be pretty tough to do with no lifelines. But Anne's a smart cookie, so you never know. A person who works full-time and gets paid bi-weekly would receive how many paychecks in 1 year? A, 12, B, 24, C, 52, D, 26.
D, 26.
Let's lock it in. This is an insult to the guest. Lock it in. That's correct. All right. We are moving on up with no lifelines. A person with an excessive wardrobe and a keen interest in dressing well is said to be a what? A, clotheshorse. B, fashion maven. C, garment guru. D, outfit oracle.
I'm going to go with Clotheshorse.
Really? Okay. I was kind of A or B. I wasn't sure. Let's lock it in. Clotheshorse. That is correct. And all of a sudden, Anne is getting up there with only 3 questions to go. Incredible.
Oh.
This could be one of the all-time great finishes. A person... Oh, this one's hectic, this question. A person flying east... A person flying due east from Iceland would pass over the following countries in what order? Norway, Sweden, Finland. Finland, Norway, Sweden. Norway, Finland, Sweden. Or Sweden, Norway, Finland. This one is just... I mean, how good are you at geography? Have you been to that part of the world?
I have not, sadly. Not yet.
Let me just think. Okay, now, so we're saying flying east from Iceland. Okay, right. Now, Sweden, which is the one closest to Russia? Well, we've got to assume Iceland is... We're flying east from Iceland. If I had to guess...
I think I'm leaning towards D.
Yeah, so am I, Anne. I can't remember what I put in as a correct answer. Assuming I did the correct one. I'm sure I did. All right, let's lock in D. Let's touch wood. Knock on wood. Touch wood. What do you say?
Ah.
Okay. Well, let's just assume I got that one right. And you did very well. You had some very tough questions. All right, let's segue into Anne. And Anne, you work with startups and you help them with their marketing. How on earth did you get into that?
Yeah, so I worked for a startup for several years. And I got bit by the startup bug. I loved the fast-paced environment. I loved the small team, the quick wins, the quick losses, and just decided that, after being there for 3 years, I wanted to head out on my own and just help multiple startups because I really enjoyed it and I love the entrepreneurial spirit. So that's how I got here.
What was your role in that got you into startups?
I managed the marketing department.
So was that, did you do that at college, or was it just because you don't necessarily need a college degree, you just need to be good at it?
That's a really good point. Yeah, I went to school for communication, which, I mean, listen, that's a skill that everyone needs at pretty much every job in some capacity. And then I went on to get a master's in interactive media. So, kind of more detailed training, things like writing for the web,
A little bit techie.
some design. Yeah, a little more techie, app
Okay.
design, just design in general, which was nice and, fitting. Um, and I actually started my career in market research, which has nothing to do with any of those things. It really has more to do with consumer behavior and taught me a lot about why people make the decisions that they do when it comes to their purchases. So I loved it. And it really got me interested in doing kind of a pure marketing role later on. And so that's how I got started.
Marketing research is a very good field. Which
Yeah.
which of those studies that you did do you think was the key to getting you into the startup scene? Was it the market research or the masters in interactive media?
Good question. Probably more the market research, to be honest with you. I think because it kind of fed my love for asking questions and just having a curious brain. And I think that that's actually a really big part of being a part of the startup world. You have to be able to ask questions, be curious, because if you don't, you likely won't succeed.
And they also, did you do a lot of statistics in that and you learn how to do that, or is that not really what you do there?
I did some. I actually worked more on the visual side and while doing market research. So I did some statistic work in school too, but it's actually not what I do now, except really I will work on analytics, but I don't necessarily consider those the same.
Okay, yeah, analytics, yeah. Well, it's all about the data that startups really crave and need to be able to work out what they're going to do. Now,
Yeah.
so your business is called FinTech. It's also a play on your name, but are you also are you specializing in financial FinTech startups as well?
So I have quite a bit of financial services background. I managed the marketing department at a large financial services company. And then I went on to the startup that I worked for, was also with a financial planning software, worked with a lot of financial advisors over the years. So I have a lot of experience in financial services and fintech. I do work with some fintech clients, but it is not the only industry that I work in. I actually also have a lot of animal health startup clients, an AI client. It's kind of it's more about with the founder, to be honest with you, than necessarily the industry.
But is fintech your main niche, or is it quite mixed?
It really is quite mixed now, but I would definitely say if I could pick one area that I probably feel most comfortable in, it would be fintech, just given the amount of experience that I've had over the years.
I got you. Okay, and what are some of the challenges that early startups face, and the things that you see quite common?
I think that inconsistency is probably one of the biggest challenges that I see, and a lack of a plan. So there's a lot of throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. And it's understandable when there's limited resources, limited people, limited budget, all that type of thing, to kind of make do with what you have. But those inconsistencies in messaging, in communication, just in marketing in general, can really make it confusing for your consumer to find out how you can benefit them.
Yes, the inconsistent messaging I feel like is a key, and sometimes I'll look at something and I will say, I don't really know what this is, and then you don't really want to sort of look any further, whereas sometimes you look at something and it smacks you in the head and just within seconds exactly what they're doing. So that's a key part of it. And what about in terms of consistency and having a plan? I guess without one, you're not really able to execute anything. What is the process that works that you get people to do?
I always start with, when we're making a marketing plan, I actually start with the business goals. So actually, we don't even start with marketing. We just have to figure out where is the business trying to go. And sometimes they know and sometimes they don't. So we fill in as much as we can, right? And then we figure out, okay, we know the business goals. How does marketing fit into that? Like, what is marketing's role to help accomplish those things? So, and then we map out the strategy, and then we map out the tactics. So it's kind of, it's a pyramid, right? We start at the top with the business goals, and then we work down how marketing fits in. And that really seems to help. I mean, the other thing I'll say is, especially with startups, a marketing plan is not set in cement, right? It's definitely something that has to be revisited quite often because things change so quickly in the startup environment. So while I love having a plan and I absolutely think it's important to have one, you also need to be able to be flexible.
The goals thing where you're starting at, that's always, that's a tough one. I mean, if you ask somebody, I guess they say, well, our goal is, to be bought out for 100 million. I mean, how do you sort of put a cap on the goal? How do you make it realistic? How do you make it something that is real, I guess, if that's a bit vague, that question. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I mean, of course, everybody would love a large exit, right? But that's not necessarily a goal for the year ahead that you're working. And typically with a marketing plan, you might only be working 6 months ahead. So what are you trying to accomplish in 6 months? If it's you want to bring in 100,000 in sales, you want to hire 2 new teammates, you want to raise a round of funding, right? Those are all far more tangible goals than I want a large exit. So, we work to kind of figure some of those things out of, what is truly realistic in the next 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, that type of thing.
Yeah. And as far as the actual marketing and the execution of the marketing, can you give us some ideas of what things need to be done over what period to get results?
I always start with messaging as a foundation, right? And I'll say this over and over again, but if you can be in all the marketing channels everywhere, and if your messaging is terrible and doesn't match up with your audience, it is going to fall on, like, no one is going to hear it. No one's going to understand. No one's going to connect with it. So I always start with messaging first, make sure we understand value proposition. We understand mission. We understand, where are we going? And then to that point, do we really know our audience? Do we know who we're connecting with and why? Why does our solution solve for their problems? So we start there. And then at that point, again, looking at budget, things like content. So organic, social, email, blog, all of that needs to get buttoned up. If they have budget for paid media, you can certainly throw that into the mix.
What are your thoughts on that paid versus doing the organic first? What do you think?
I mean, honestly, in the very beginning, most startups don't really have the budget to make a real dent with paid media initially. You can do some paid media for awareness, but I don't really think it's the best first strategy out of the gate. I would rather see people start building an email list, working through their email list, getting their website, spot on with messaging, getting a good content strategy, and working on organic first, then I would see them jump right into paid right out of the gate before they even have customers or very few customers.
Exactly. And, paid's not going to work if you don't have a whole lot of great content anyway. So you may as well do the content first of all.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% agree. So.
All right, and can you tell us about what's involved if people are wanting to work with you, and also what type of companies, who's the ideal person that you really can help to, and what's the next step? What can they expect?
Mm-hmm. I work with early stage startups, so we're talking pre-seed, seed round, Series A is typically bread and butter. Some Series B if they still have a relatively small team. I work either directly with founders or if they have maybe a marketing team of 1 or 2. That's generally my sweet spot. And I'm really looking to work with founders who are open, collaborative, and want to work together is really my primary thing, as opposed to industry. And if anyone wants to find me, you can find me at finmarketingm.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn. Would be very happy to connect with you.
And what do you do? Do you do like a strategy call? Is there a booking appointment? Oh, let me just bring up the website just so we can have a look at that. So we've got, book a consultation, and that'll go into the calendar, and then they'll have a Zoom call with you.
Yes. And we'll see what there is to see, right? I mean, I always have a phone call first to see if we're a good fit, to see if what you're looking for is something that I can help you with. And if not, I'm also very happy to recommend somebody that might be a better fit. But always open to taking new clients and having good conversations.
Yeah, you got to have that combo, and then you straight away you can just feel if there's a bit of magic or not. Great. So if you like the cut of Anne's jib, jump on to finmarketingm.com and have a call with her if you are in the startup game and you want to get your marketing sorted out. I think you should have a chat to Anne. Thanks for coming on, Anne. I'm going to wrap things up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is great.
No worries. Thanks, everyone.